Okay, so all right, so we are officially recording now, and beautiful. All right, so we're off to the races. All right, so hi everybody, welcome back to episode 2 of How to Rank For. Episode 2, we made it, guys. We made it. What an accomplishment, episode 2. And obviously, not everybody really knows very much about myself and Cameron so much yet. But hopefully, as we do more and more episodes, everybody will start to learn a little bit more about us. But if there's one thing that, if you actually know us as a friend and know us close, is that me and Cameron, we like to smoke stogies and cigars. And a lot of our relationship and friendship that started revolves quite a bit around cigars, just for a number of reasons. But obviously, the whole point of this video podcast is to talk about certain businesses and industries and kind of parlay how we would adjust a digital marketing strategy to it. And pretty much to start this one off, I wanted to launch a cigar website, and I wanted to review cigars, and I want to write about them, and I want to try them. And my good friend Cameron here built the website for me.
Yeah. Well, first of all, let's do backstory. You built it yourself first.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of got it rolling. I don't know, and how long you were doing it for? Maybe like a year or so, maybe more.
Yeah, I mean, I was probably doing it about 4.5 months,
Right.
and I had built the website on Weebly, and it didn't
Mm-hmm.
start off as a cigar website. It started off and the website was called bourbonandbroadleaf.com. Doesn't exist anymore because I'm a fool and I deleted it. And now we all know, after being in this industry for so long, that don't get rid of legacy domains. Keep them forever because you can do something with
Keep them
them.
or sell them.
Yeah, exactly. And pretty much in short, I had started the website. I wanted to review cigars, but I wanted to have content. So I had reached out to people that I knew in college, and I just wanted to start a blog just so I could get content online. And then once
Yeah.
I started to realize that I wanted it to be hyper-focused in the cigar industry, and the reason why I thought I wanted to be hyper-focused, because I saw other people doing review websites, and I saw how they were being operating. And this was like 2013, 14. So this was some time ago.
Yeah.
And I noticed that there wasn't really there was a easy entry point if you knew SEO and website and digital marketing, to kind of jump in there and attack the strategy for it. So that's why I said, hey, Cameron, can you build me a dope website that is going to be really good for what I want to do?
Yeah, you kind of like, I feel like it was a big part of like your resume too, because you had that, you were able to like differentiate yourself from a lot of people out there. Like, no, I got this cigar blog site and it's ranking, and I can show you that it's ranking. And, so that's proof of like my digital knowledge, my digital marketing background. And yeah, you came in with the site, and I was like, I've had my background in WordPress sites. So it's like, yeah, no, let's move this guy to WordPress. So we built a nice theme and we kind of optimized it. So all of the old pages like started to rank a little bit higher, and all your reviews, and we'll kind of get into like, the strategy behind the reviews. But
Right.
yeah, it was a really fun project. And what was cool is that, you were starting to get like a little bit of a name in the industry, and you're able to use this as like a
A leverage
force.
point.
Yeah, leverage to get some,
Yeah.
to review certain cigars and or like beer and stuff like that, and booze.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And it's true, like I still joke still to this day, like I'm going to at one point write a book about digital marketing, and it's going to be called How Cigars, Craft Beer, and Bourbon Taught Me SEO, because
Yeah.
it was this pet
That's
project.
a good name. That's a
I know,
really
it's pretty
good
decent.
name.
Yeah, I got to trademark it before someone else takes it. But like, and I will, so I'll call my lawyer right after this.
Mhm.
So like, pretty much in short, this was a platform for me to learn about SEO and digital marketing in my free time, and the value of content marketing. That was probably where I had really truly found that out. So obviously the name of this episode is How to Rank For Cigars. So that's a very broad keyword general statement, but at the end of the day, this is what had happened in our particular situation. And then we'll add on different types of value adds if you're, running your own cigar brand, or if you're running your own local boutique shop, which is generally most of the case. Because most of the time, if you're either a cigar brand and you own the company and you hire independent sales reps, 1098s or 1099s, whatever the hell it may be, contractors, and they work a certain region of the country and they go after different types of cigar shops, and those shops buy the cigars from those sales consultants. And that
Mm-hmm.
is more or less, that's the good old boy network of that industry. Cigar industry is very much an older, entwined industry. Some industries that we'll talk about will be much more newer. They're much more adaptable to newer ways. Cigar industry is a good old boy network, just like other business models that we'll talk about. And it's all who
Yeah.
you know, and it's the people who run the businesses and the connections. What I wanted to do is I wanted to create a review website for fun. And my main goal, which I did accomplish, was I wanted it to get free cigars. This was before
Yeah.
the the FDA stepped in with the whole regulation, and you're not allowed as a brand to send cigars out anymore. But I jumped in just in time, and I got a couple good years in where I was getting close to 30 cigars a month for
Yeah.
free, just for brands to have me review it. And that goes into affiliate marketing and a number of things. But yeah, so let's
But
jump right in.
let's get into it. Let's get into it. You know,
Yeah.
why were like, why did people send you cigars? Why did they send you cigars? Like, what did you have on that website that allowed these guys to, or that like made these guys want to send you a cigar to review?
Right. Well, Cameron, I'll tell you. It all really starts with your outward appearance. Everybody's always going to say fake it till you make it. That's what you have to do. In the very beginning, all you're doing is faking it. So you go in, you create a beautiful website that you created for me, an amazing template that had it gave me all the platform that I needed and the visual appeal of a newcomer and a unique visitor to a website. So boom, aesthetically, I was set.
Mm-hmm.
From there, it was all about content, and lots of it, and valuable content.
Mm-hmm.
And the biggest thing that I wanted to do is I wanted to make sure that I was reviewing as many cigars. So I was taking very high resolution pictures of the label. I was writing
Yes.
about the cigar
Yes.
wrapper filler. All of my reviews were at least, I think I made a rule that every single review had to be at least 700 words. So I
Yep.
was reading a certain quota. Most, several years ago, SEO online, you have Yoast and all this other stuff that's like, plug-in built in for SEO and whatnot on WordPress and other, platforms use other types of technologies. Back then it used to be like 700 words, 600 words. Now it's like 900 words or whatever the hell it may be, but you can always get through it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was writing long reviews that said the keyword of the cigar. So for example, I am writing a cigar. I'm smoking the cigar called the Hoya Cabineta. It's one of my favorite cigars. I would write a 700-word review that mentioned the exact name, Hoya Cabineta, about 7 times at least in the article. I'd post multiple images. I would tag the meta tags and
Do the
all
alt
the
text.
tagging,
Yep.
all of it. Yeah. And the most important part about it is I would share my reviews on social media in cigar related communities and pages and groups. That was the big thing. I'd share it out to people who had the same like-minded hobby of smoking cigars as me. And that dovetailed. I created a Twitter account where I would network with the industry, the cigar brands directly. And I would ask them, hey, I'm this guy of this website. If you send me a cigar, I'll do a free review. It's free publicity. I'll send it out to my mailer of
Mm-hmm.
5,000, 7,000 people that I had, and it worked out really well. So I got all these free cigars. I ended up getting free bourbon, free
Yeah.
craft beer to review, because that's the point. Like in the first year, I was just doing cigars. In the second year, and I know you remember, I was getting sent like bourbon and stuff, and and I was like, this is crazy, and it, it was really exciting. And I think that just simple measures brought it to fruition.
Yeah, dude, I really think the pictures on your site You know, people just were they may have even just sending you cigars because they knew they're gonna get some sweet photos of it by like a
Right.
pro photographer, which is huge. And yeah, it was you did a good job. And also, I think another rule you did was you kind of stuck to boutique cigars. So
Right.
you did the cigars that people would be, you know, they'd come across this boutique brand, and then they would look for a review, and because they were just so boutique, you'd be the only one there ranking for them, which was like kind of get your foot in the door with the traffic and those, you know, those number one spots. And
Absolutely.
yeah, and that was huge. That was huge because, you know, once you get those number one spots, then you start to earn links because people kind of use your pictures and use your,
Right.
you know, use your
It's
content,
true.
kind of link to it
That
every once in a while.
that's a whole nother strategy,
Even
in
the
and
yeah,
itself.
even the cigar sites were linking to your reviews. You know what I'm
They
saying?
were, yeah, and that belt did, that created a lot of large digital attribution, in link building 101, and when pretty much when the authority of what you're talking about links back to you, Google will be able to see that. Search engines will be able to see the authority that's behind it. And when you're
Hmm.
looking at different types of metrics and tools and whatever you may be using, and if you're entrenched in the industry like me and Cameron are, and domain authority and Moz rank and page rank and all this other stuff that needs to be utilized and kept in mind. For me, it was just keeping to the niche, like you stated. I was talking about cigars that not a lot of people had reviewed, so that's a good
Hmm.
thing. So that's an easy rank. The competition rate is very low for something like that, so I can get easy viewership and I can rank very easy. That's not always the case for a lot of industries. Usually,
Right.
mitigating through certain harder, keywords is usually the case for most.
But
But in my,
it's a good
yeah,
strategy. You know, it's a good
it
strategy. It's
is
like you get it's finding those boutique keywords. You know,
right, and it's fun. It's
those
the hunt.
yeah, long term, short term, like long tail, short tail, but like, you know, long tail is usually what's working for like, you know, quick wins. I'd say I call them quick wins is like a long term because you rank number one, but maybe not the traffic may not be as high. But as you saw in some of the industries you worked in, that's what you did. You targeted those, and then they became popular over time, which was so
They
cool to
did.
see. You know, it was
Yeah,
like you were like, I'm gonna find these long tail keywords and just write a really good post about them, and like I know it's being searched because it comes up when you like type in it on Google, you know, the
right.
like the autofill on Google. So you know it's being searched, but you know, it may not be searched a lot, and you kind of like invested in those long-term tail keywords and boom, you know, they grew over time, and it was and I'm going to keep saying this, but SEO is such an investment game. It's a long-term investment, and you just got to
It
like
is.
put in the time and it'll pay off. But and you know, as long as you have the right strategy and the patience, you know, it really does pay off in the long run.
It's true. If you feel like you're going in the smart direction, and I've had a lot of that happen in definitely in a lot of cases of mine, the slow roasters. We can just call them the slow roasting keywords, whether they're short tail or long tail slow roasting
Low
keywords.
roasters.
And yeah, and the slow roasting keyword phrases, because especially it's an interesting scenario, like so let's look at it from the perspective of a um, let's say I own a cigar shop. Okay, it is in my interest to talk about the cigars that I sell. Why? From an advertising, from a marketing perspective, um, I want to get the word out and promote the products that I sell. So you can get information that's proprietary from the owner that tells you a little something special about the cigar in itself. From there, if you have a web platform, you have a social media platform, you should be promoting it. People don't always want to see ads. I
Right.
don't always want to go to a website or a social media platform or wherever a business is advertising and see buy two, get the third free. Cool, whatever. I don't always want to see that.
No.
Sometimes I want to see valuable content. And
Yep.
that is what is going to create the actual visitors and the people that are actually going to want to follow you. And those are going to be the evangelical marketers of your brand. That is the goal of every single brand. I love Apple products. I have an Apple phone. I am an evangelical marketer for Apple because I am promoting their brand out of being a fan of their products. That is the
Yep.
goal of every single brand.
Yeah.
Cigars can be the same way. I
Yep.
like this brand, so I'm going to say I like it. I'm going to say to people like you who also smoke cigars, you should try this one. This one's really good.
Yep. Yeah,
So it's
that's
very
that's
word of
huge.
mouth.
That's huge in the cigar industry too. I mean, because I don't know if you're still a part of them, but I'm still a part of like a bunch of like Facebook groups where these guys are smoking these random cigars, and like I know for a fact that it's a $3 stick, but just because the guy's there smoking it and he's got a good picture on it, and it looks good, it's like, man, maybe I should
Oh
go
yeah.
try that again.
Oh yeah, dude, and that's part of the industry. Like this one doesn't. This one, in my opinion, honestly, used to have a much better label. But we're talking about, and we'll get to this industry. We'll talk about the book publishing industry and marketing and stuff like that. But cigars are a lot like books. You don't know what the inside is going to. You don't know what the experience of the inside is going to be. All I know is that label's pretty. I know that book cover's pretty. So
and
I'm
the and,
really
and the and like the kind of the roll of the cigar. I mean, the quality of the
and
roll.
the author or the
Right.
roller is
Right.
good. It can be like well known. So yeah, I get it. So it's worth the shot in some industries. But honestly, if you hire a really good graphic designer and you own a cigar company and you're pandering to the right market and the demographics of who you're trying to pitch to, then you can get them.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest. So let's do like a bullet point, kind of fast type of tip situation for, let's say, cigar shops. Because at the end of the day, the cigar brands are going to have their own methodology on how they're going to be selling their brands. They're going to be reaching out to online outlets and online e-commerce. More cigars are sold online by very large outlets and cigar companies than in actual retail shops.
Yeah.
So we can lend our digital strategy to these online e-commerce platforms, but why would we do that? They already have a strong pulse on what they're doing. So let's talk about the cigar shop. So first off, I'll start and then I'll jump it right to you.
Okay.
So we'll just go tit for tat. My first recommendation is the obvious one. Cigar shops are a local based company. Make sure that if you are a cigar shop that you have local directories in place. Google My Business, Manta, Yelp, have those positive reviews up pumping out. Make sure you have the right phone numbers, the right address, the right title. And of course, go into Google My Business. Make sure you have the right categories. Make sure that you are ranking locally for both desktop and mobile so people can find you where they are located. You're a local shop, make sure you're seen locally.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And what a lot of businesses do wrong in this situation is that they put different information on different sites. And in the local SEO world, you need to have the same information, the same name, address, phone number, NAP. You'll see NAP sprinkled out everywhere when you're searching this. Name, address, phone number on every single like directory site, the Yelp, the the your Facebook profile, your Google My Business. Obviously, Google My Business is like the headquarters. That's the one you want to mimic through all these other sites. So take
Right.
all the information that you put on your Google My Business and use that same for, the Foursquare and for those, the Mantas, all those other directory sites. And those are called citations. And the more citations that you have with the correct information across the board, the higher you're going to rank when, someone is in the middle
Right.
of like two shops, because Google My Business is still proximity based. So the closest shop is going to come to you. But if there's someone like in the middle, or I haven't really like figured out the distances, but if you have more citations, you're going to rank higher, for someone who's like around three shops, the same.
Of
uh,
course, and it's the value add experience. If I know that I'm going to, and it's not like this for a lot of cases for a lot of other industries, but for this one very much so. If I and we've both done this many times when we're traveling and we're somewhere around the country, and I'm in the mood for a cigar, and in the off chance that we didn't bring one, normally we have brought one already because that's us, but in
right.
the off chance we didn't bring one, we're going to Google, cigar shops near me, and let's say three pop up. I'm going to be looking at reviews. I'm going to be looking at company photos. I'm going to
Hmm.
be looking at user experience that is digital and close to me. And I think making sure that your local shop is very important. And we can talk about this forever, but let's move right on to the next thing. Okay, so it's a local shop. So we have to think a certain way in our digital marketing experience. Local shops, you don't want to get too in the weeds with too many different strategies. So another thing that I would suggest doing, obviously, if you're not already doing it, is your mailer list. And
Yeah.
you're going to be able to talk about a lot this, as well, because you have a lot of experience in email lists and the value of them, and more importantly, the reciprocal value. Every single time someone goes into your shop, make sure you get their email. It's important for promotions. It's important for holiday promotions, for anything. I mean, Jesus,
Yep.
that's how you're going to get to your customers. If you can get their cell phone and you can do SMS and email are so critical to local clients and
That's so
local
true.
customers.
Yeah, I mean, building that email list is so important. I mean, that's for any business, because the list it's your community, and
I just got to
say,
say real quick before you
yeah.
keep going, you look like the guy in like the interview that wants to be like facially redacted
Oh,
from like doing
so,
like a
so
like
should I start
yeah,
talking like this?
exactly. You're that
So,
guy right now.
in every website, you want to build an email list.
Yeah, dude.
It's in that one commercial. It's in the Liberty commercial, and then like someone shines a light on him or something, and he jumps over the railing.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about? I don't know.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah, 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 yeah.
insurance.
The insurance commercial.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah, dude. But that's such a good point. The email list, and like, what would be some good ideas to build that list? Maybe give away like a really cheap burner cigar for exchange for email.
Oh
Give
yeah,
give a percentage off. Give them like a coupon, so if they buy 5, they get 10% off. Kind of deal. Just
absolutely.
something. A deal that you already have going on. Just put it on a piece of paper and give it to them in exchange for their email, or because you gotta people now they don't really want to give out their emails much. Everyone's blasting them with email. As soon as they get on email list, they're getting like 10 emails a day from 10 different people, and it's like
Right.
it's they want to make sure that they're going to get a lot of value from your list. So either build that list, but if you do email them, make sure it's like a really important email, so they don't just be like, oh, these guys again unsubscribe.
Yeah, and that's a difficult part, especially as like from a cigar shop perspective. I think that you can run into a little bit of you know people who smoke cigars, and obviously this conversation is very proprietary to each industry. But we're the whole point of this video podcast is to talk specifically about strategies that are in tune with a specific industry. We're talking about cigars here. People who are signing up for a email list in a cigar shop are people who like to smoke cigars. They want to know about the product. They're fully engaged. An engaged
Right.
customer is a buying customer. So I would say make sure that, so we talked about directories, Google My Business. We talked about getting that email list together. You can do content just like I did. As a small business owner, there's nothing that is preventing you from creating new original content, video content about cigar reviews. There's a couple. I mean, you Google cigar reviews out there, you'll see people are doing cigar reviews that own shops. They're doing it right because they're creating the content, they're building the awareness, they're driving attention to their own brand. That's exactly what you want to do.
That's so true.
Now, I know that we talk about digital marketing, but in this particular case, print media is very important in cigar industry.
Yes.
Why? Why? Because of the demographics that you're going after. So in the off chance, obviously, we talk predominantly about digital marketing, but we're talking about marketing strategy here. We live in a world where there are a lot of cigar smokers that are on the older side of the demographics, anywhere from the ages of 70 to upper 20s. Dare I say even early 30s is the predominant demographic, and male, some
Yep.
female, but
Yep.
predominant male. That is your demographic window right there of marketing. It's very rare that there is going to be someone like us that started smoking premium cigars at a younger age.
Yeah.
like when we did in like our mid 20s. We're kind of like, that's kind of not the norm by far. And in your marketing strategies, that's not who you're marketing to. Another reason why we have to talk about traditional marketing in this industry is because Facebook, Google, and a number of these other places don't allow you to run tobacco related ads.
Right.
So you have to rely yourself on, certain strategies that are older and antiquated, but are still working for this industry.
Yeah, I
So
mean, building a community, that's kind of what you're doing. You're doing that when you get the email list. Actually, that wouldn't be a bad idea. Once you get their email, send them an invite, and you keep hitting them until they join the Facebook group. Where you kind of get the
exactly,
community talking about it, and that Facebook group is your business. Like or you could link it to your business somehow.
it is.
And and if you're the admin there, you can kind of post your specials, because I mean, you can kind of get away with it in a Facebook group, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole. I mean, honestly, I would, just like you said, you're 100% right. The group, the Facebook, for some reason, I don't know why it's Facebook. I mean, I'm sure you can engage good on Instagram and other platforms, but for some reason, the community structure, and this is why Facebook is running television ads in 2019 and 2020
Yes.
for Facebook communities, because they know that is where their platform is
Groups.
migrating. The
Yep.
engagement is people like hobbies. They want to talk about their hobbies. Cool. Do it in this community page. Do it in this community group. Cigar industry is very much into that. Very, very much so. So if you can create a page that is the name of your cigar shop or something else, and you have X amount of visitors and contributors and people who are part of this group, that is where you're going to inlie the engagement. I wanted to do my best to not name drop in this particular episode, but it's been very, very hard. I've been biting my tongue many times because there's just so many people who aren't doing it right, and the people who are, you can call them out immediately. There's a shop in Fort Worth, Texas called the Underground, Cigar Underground,
Okay.
and they're crushing it. Oh my God, their social is so good. They're just doing everything right. Then you have the big wigs. I don't even know if I should call them big wigs, but whatever. They're e-commerce. They sell cigars online, like Cigar International and
Hmm.
cigar.com. And there's a million other websites that do, Cigar of the Month clubs and whatnot. And they have their own strategy, and they
Yeah.
make up the predominant market share of the industry. But as a small cigar shop, if you are a cigar shop and you look at the way, Underground Cigar Underground, I apologize if I'm butchering the name. You know who you are, and I apologize. But you're doing everything right, so you can't hold it against me because I'm literally giving you a compliment. And every other local shop, there's a couple other ones that are doing very well too, and I apologize if I'm not mentioning them. If you pay me, I'll mention you. You can just advertise or something like that. But anyway, what I'm getting at is that it's all about online engagement. You got to do traditional sense. It's and that's another thing that I want to bring out. In this industry, it's all about. Not all industries are about return existing customers, but this one is. You have to have a strong attention to detail with your current clientele basis. You could do a little, I would say, focus. Dare I say, and I could be crazy about this, and let me know if you think I'm wrong. Dare I say, 70% to your existing clientele attention to, 30 to new customers, because if you know that your existing clientele is buying boxes, which
Yeah.
are 150,
Yeah.
210, $300 a unit, you are marketing. That's your market share. It's not like
Yeah.
you're not selling huge price tag products. You're
Right.
selling $300 boxes of 20 cigars at best. You have to market to the people that you know are going to buy.
Yeah. Who have been to your store and like your store. Just and it's really just awareness. It's just kind of like keep on, knocking on the door and saying, hello, we're here. We're still in the area. We're still,
Right.
your local cigar shop. Because if you don't do that, they'll forget about you. And
Right.
that's just for every business. Even if it's like,
Exactly.
even if you sell one product, and if you don't continue to engage them, if you ever want to at least launch another product, they're still in your loop. They're
Right.
still in your loop if you keep talking to them. You know, it's huge.
So let's go down. Let's do like a bullet point list. So from a because we're winding down a little bit more on this particular one, but so let's talk about this. So I am a cigar shop business owner. We talked about a couple critical areas. Obviously, we didn't mention everything, and
Mhm.
not even the best chocolate bar, has everything that you're looking for sometimes. So we're gonna leave some things out, but let's do a quick bullet point, rapid fire of things that if I was a cigar shop owner, uh, and we can even talk over each other, just so we can make sure that we get that. We mentioned local directories, Google My Business,
Mhm.
email marketing to your current customers, getting new customers that come in onto your email list, or SMS rather,
Mhm.
because that's obviously the open ratio for SMS to your cell phone is actually quite a bit higher than to email. So
Mhm.
you're directly getting to your local customers who are going to be repeat buyers. Creating online engaged content, whether it be written through a website, through your e-commerce if you're a local shop and you don't have an e-commerce platform, what's the harm?
Right.
What's the harm? What's the harm in providing simple drop shipping? You get a couple boxes, you get a couple packaging peanuts, you print out your invoice, you shove it in the box, you send it out,
Yeah.
you make sure that your margins are there, so you're upselling it. You don't have to necessarily have the same pricing as you do in the shop as you do online, because obviously shipping fees and online fees and service fees, whatever they are, mitigate them, fix them. Uh, we also mentioned about a digital presence as far as engaging in online communities so you
Yeah,
can further
building a
your
community for
spam.
sure. You want to build a community, or at least try to build a community, get people to like your
Right.
shop and take pictures of themselves smoking the cigars that they got from your shop and tag the shop.
Yeah.
That's huge.
What
It's worth.
what else what else do you think we're missing? Because we can't really, this is a fun topic in a way where like we can't do a deep dive on digital because tobacco is regulated too much from an internet perspective.
Well, I mean, you can get on some local boards or local groups. Do some meetup groups and promote your shop there. Some
Right.
networking events. Just go to a
Yes.
couple networking events. Just wear your shirt and hand out cards. Just in your area. You know. Um, you could probably leave some of your uh some like flyers at different places. Something
Right.
along the lines of that.
Yeah,
The
I mean it's a local business. So I mean,
Yeah.
going after certain areas where it's even local magazines, local as you stated, certain flyers, networking with neighboring businesses that are around you. If you're in a local plaza, making sure that maybe who your neighbors are and you're able to perhaps put some type of marketing material. That's the thing. It's like cigar buyers, it's a divided industry. There's cigar buyers who are going to buy online religiously, and that's that. Or there's going to be people like you and me who want that personal interaction. And that's another aspect. They want that personal interaction with the person who's selling their cigar. They want to talk about cigars with the person who's selling them in person. And
Mhm.
they want to get it faster. And that's another thing at the end of the day. It's like, if I want a cigar today, I'm going to go to the one that's 3 minutes from me. And
I'd
I'm,
also
and
recommend reaching out to some local influencers, and you can find influencers on like LinkedIn, or I mean on Instagram, by searching hashtags of like the
right.
city. A lot of them will do that. Um, yeah, influencers. If you could find some local influencers to like promote your shop, really,
Honestly, that would be
that's
a fantastic idea. And I'm glad you brought that up because that is a critical part.
yeah.
Influencers are a really big part. There's a lot of people who post a lot of cigars and mention brands about that. And I think that is a super critical extra part. This is a fun topic. We'll probably do a part two. We're kind of winding down. We're
Mhm.
getting into the last 30 seconds of this program for us. So any closing comments?
Dude, I mean, I'm excited. Tune in next time for a really good show.
Yeah, and who knows what the
Thanks for
topic will
listening to
be.
this.
Hey, this was good time. Cameron, thank you so much. I'm Max. That is Cameron. Thank you for another solid episode of How to Rank For, and we'll be back with another industry that is very interesting.
Cool.
And let me see here. And we are